Hi, and thanks for joining me. And thank you to my sponsor, Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in downtown LaSalle. She's always looked after me, and she's always had my back, and she's going to have yours too. Well, Dr. Tracy Morris is all set for her first academic year as the new president of Illinois Valley Community College, assuming responsibility for the school following the retirement of Dr. Jerry Corcoran in his distinguished career. As I shared with you in another Tom's Take video recently, Dr. Morris comes to the position with quite a background, an alumna of the school. She's worked at IVCC in the past. She was the first compliance officer for any community college in the state of Illinois, and these are just a few of the things. In the previous installment, Dr. Morris shared her background, and today we're going to take a look at what's ahead as the school marks its 100th birthday. They're going to be working on their long-term facility plan and their mission and their vision. And on that note, you'll see today some of her thoughts on some of those things.
We are on cycle to begin facility master planning and strategic planning. So Dr. Corcoran, we really normally would have started it earlier in the spring. The board and Dr. Corcoran said, we have a new president coming. We really want her, because they knew it was me by that point, to lead that. So we're a little late in starting that, but how exciting. So facility master planning is technically a 10-year plan. We'll revisit it in 5 and see where we're at, but that's where you look at the campus and we're going to bring external stakeholders, internal stakeholders, and say, what do we need to do next? Where do we grow? We could put 30 buildings on that, and we know we're never going to build 30 buildings. What do we need? What do we want? And what do we wish we could have? And that's when you talk about facility master planning. 10 years ago when I was here previously, the ag building was on there. It was a wish. It was a dream a million miles away. There was some plan for something agriculture. There were enhancements to the cultural center. At the time, it was building a new building. Dr. Mary Margaret Weig, who was an amazing human and just a dedicated faculty member and dean for us for a long time, generously donated over $1 million. Instead of building a building, we enhanced what we have, and we have a gorgeous facility. So it's not set in stone. It is, let's dream, and where do we need? And so coming back now after being gone for 9 years to see some of those pieces in place is amazing. The board and Dr. Corcoran did an amazing job financially, so that as a new president, I am coming into a college that hasn't raised tuition in 6 years, that is financially sound, and that has resources so that when we receive a grant from the U.S. government for the ag building, we can supplement the rest. And so we don't have to leave money on the table. So that is really, really exciting. I can't wait to hear what the employees want, need, and wish for. Because it really is, then we as a campus community, mindfully, where are the highest priorities? What does that look like? I have a couple ideas. I don't know what they're going to say. So really, that part is an exciting time. And then when you talk strategic planning, revisiting our mission and vision statement is one of the first steps. So you have your mission, what we do. Vision is where we want to be 5 to 10 years from now. And then strategic plan is how do we get there? And it's so exciting to see. We have incredible faculty. We have staff. We have so many staff who have been here 20, 30. Judy Day just retired with 37 years to the college. Amazing. People love this school. They want to be a part of planning. My job is to facilitate it. So it's just such an exciting time. The 100th is just an added bonus because I'm kind of a IVCC history nerd. And so, going through memorabilia, you can see my office is in a little bit of flux, but we're finding all these old aerial pictures of the college, and we're finding old memorabilia tucked in corners, and we're starting to pull it out and figure out how can we display. I found the shovel for the 1971 groundbreaking. It's stuck in a closet. It's not going to be for long.
I'm talking with Dr. Tracy Morris, the new president of IVCC. Now, if you're listening to this on the radio or online, you should know that this is just the audio part of a video-based feature. You can check it out at the Starved Rock Media YouTube channel. Now, I worked at Northrop Grumman in Los Angeles near LAX. Our aircraft production line gave opportunities to students from several community colleges in that area. So I asked Dr. Morris how she plans to reinforce the community part of Illinois Valley Community College.
We've already had some really key discussions about where are opportunities to grow, whether it's internship, apprenticeship, grow your own is, something that has been brought forward to me by an amazing community member as an opportunity in the education field. Talking to local employers about how can we do some apprenticeships so that they can not only pay for the school, but pay the individuals to learn. And there are a couple key partners in the community who are already doing that or who are just starting. You get that experience so that if you go into, let's say, marketing and you're doing an internship or an apprenticeship and you realize, ooh, maybe this isn't for me, better to find out now than 5 years from now. It took me one semester to realize that business wasn't my intended major for my life. But some students will go a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then they get that internship experience. They're like, ooh, I'm not sure. That's why our nursing program years ago went to CNA being a requirement to come in, because we had people who went through the book part and then got into clinicals and were like, ooh, I don't know if this is for me. Being a CNA is an amazing profession. It's a noble profession. It's also a great gateway into health careers. And so, those kind of experiences are, and we used to have a lot of employers, nursing homes included, they'd come in as a CNA, and then the nurses on staff would support those students through the nursing program. And they'd cheer them on, and they'd drill them, and some places would even pay for some of those courses. So anytime you can get those work experiences, I just think it's amazing. And it's one of our next future opportunities to find ways, especially if you can get some federal funding, to help the employers pay those employees while they're coming to school.
You're partway through the second half of my interview with new IVCC President Dr. Tracy Morris. You can see part 1 on the Star of Rock Media YouTube channel, along with other weekly videos. At this point in our discussion, I asked Dr. Morris how she, as the new president of IVCC, feels about the ongoing, very emotional discussions about political agendas in curriculum.
We want our students to be challenged to look at another perspective. That doesn't mean they have to agree. We're not indoctrinating students. We want them to think about different opportunities. So we used to have, I don't know if we still do, but in speech class, you would have to pick a side where you agreed, and then you had to argue the opposite. That is critical thinking. And to be able to listen and to hear the other side in that tolerance and respectful manner, it's beyond tolerance, it's respectful manner about, I may not agree with someone, but I definitely owe it to them to listen. And maybe, just maybe, I might learn something. May not change my values, may not change the way that I view the world, but when we can have those conversations in a respectful place, and it is my job as president and everyone who works here to make sure students have that environment where they can listen, they can learn, and they can be respected. But being able to be respectful of each other as well. And that's always the challenge that I think we've lost a little bit of in our current society. Over the years, I've seen, students who come back as laters in life, 40s, maybe even in their 50s. And very often they're very, very nervous to walk on campus. One person actually told me that they threw up in the parking lot because they were so afraid to come in, but they made it in. When I see generally a year or 2 years from then, the connections they've made with younger students are some of the most powerful things I've ever seen. Someone who is afraid to come in because they feel like they're different, being embraced by their classmates, being respected, being cared for, being included. Those conversations and to see those relationships build are unbelievable. You see it a lot in those kind of cohort type programs. Nursing is one that comes to mind because it's 2 to 3 years of intense togetherness. But I've also seen it when we had, I think it was Harper Wyman, and there was a group of, 7, 1 male, 6 females, and they went through their whole program together. And to watch them graduate together was amazing. But what was even neater was these other students who were different, younger, different areas, hadn't worked in the workplace, to see all of them combined together over shared experiences. They learned from each other in ways that we can't teach in the classroom. Being open to that. If you come to IVCC and you only talk to people from your community, only talk to people who agree with you, only hang out, we used to hang out by the banister with people from your school, you have a very different experience than someone who joins an organization, comes to athletic events, stays for the Socratic Lounge, where they just have philosophy discussions. So many opportunities to expand horizons, and that's what we do. And we bring, there's clubs for everyone. There's clubs for, curriculum. There's clubs for like gaming type clubs. There's faith-based, religious-based. There's political-based. All of them can coexist here because we want everyone to feel that they have a place.
That's it for my 2-part interview with IVCC's new president, Dr. Tracy Morris. Thanks again to Kathleen Whalen of Whalen Financial in downtown LaSalle for sponsoring this multimedia project. Now, if you have an idea of a topic or a person you'd like me to take a look at for Tom's Take, I ask you to please give me a call at the station's office number. That's 815-223-3100, and ask for the newsroom. I'm always glad to talk. And on that note, in fact, I'll talk to you in the morning.